Good afternoon, friends. This is Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope that you are having a great day. A great day knowing about your freedom as an American citizen. Today is the anniversary. 21 years ago, our country was attacked. I can't forget that day. I can't forget the emotions that I felt. But I have, as history has transgressed throughout the years, I have seen a lot of things happening to our country. On that day and many months thereafter, people were re-signing up to serve. People were signing up to serve our country because our country meant something to them. Our freedom meant something of value. Now, I have a lot of opinions and I'm going to try to keep it status quo. I don't want this to be political cut downs or put downs or whatever you want to call it. Our world has changed since 9/11, 2001. It's changed, and not for the good. It was perceived as good. It was warm and fuzzy because people were coming together. People were being really nice to one another. It was awesome. But it shouldn't take a devastating event like that to bring us together as a community of American citizens. And if you are one watching from another country, it shouldn't be that way no matter where you live. Sorry if I just made some noise there with the mic. I think what worries me, and I don't know if it worries me more than it concerns me, is a lot of the young people who are like 26 and younger who are protesting all this stuff. Or the littles, the ones that are just walking around. They don't have this history. And even though the young adults know that it happened, they don't have the emotional impact of what that day had on them. I know that my older two may have remembered and may have had an emotional impact on it. I haven't talked to them about it, but I remember how they felt that day. But I don't know if the impact for them was as in depth as it was for me. And I know a lot of people in my age bracket felt the same thing. Our country was attacked, which meant our freedoms were being attacked. Now you might say, well, it was just this guy on this. Okay, there's a lot of history there. And there's a lot of information, tons of it. Bin Laden was the big name back then. But we need to go back to that time to re-educate those of us who were affected. But also, we need to go back. If you are young enough and you don't remember this, or you were too young to have an impact, I ask that you go back and watch footage. There's all kinds of places that you can find it. Easiest for most of you is on YouTube. Go back and watch this footage. Listen to, and I was listening to him before I came on, Daryl Worley. Listen to his song, Have You Forgotten? I hear this song come on every now and then, sometimes while I'm on YouTube doing my stuff, cleaning up and everything. His feed will come up because it's a song I listen to often. Because his words were spot on. Do you remember? Do you remember the towers? Do you remember people falling from those towers, jumping out because they didn't want to burn? I sometimes wonder if some of them jumped because of the claustrophobic effect of being in an enclosed area where they couldn't move. As someone who suffers claustrophobia, that would be something I would do. Although I keep working on that. Anyways, what I'm saying is we have a history that we need to go back and educate ourselves. Sit back and say, what the heck happened? But not just for that day. What happened in our government from that day forward? Seriously, what has happened since 9/11, 2001? Things changed. It looked good. The facade of everybody coming together and being united was awesome. People truly were caring about each other. And yet, over the last couple of years, well, actually, further back, a couple of elections back, okay, our country became divided again. Nobody, when they debate, they don't debate on facts. They don't debate on what their goals are. They don't debate on what things matter to them. They attack each other. Lovely. That's the example our government is portraying to its citizens to argue. We've set that up rather nicely, haven't we? Because look where we are. People do not agree. Here in the United States, we had the right to speak what was on our mind and not be yelled at, or not to be... I still laughed at the last time I went to a doctor's office, the entrance person slapped my hand because I went to the wrong place for my mask. I'm sorry, that better not happen again. But what I'm saying is, people have taken it upon themselves to hurt people. We live in a culture where we are talking vividly about depression, mental illness, and bullying. And also, it's been along years of, I don't know if I can say it on this format, various abuses to our children. When I was younger, people didn't do anything about it. And as you get older, you say, oh, okay, we can do stuff. But you want to know something? What is happening is not appropriate. It's not appropriate for our children. The arguing of adults. Come on, grow up. Okay, I guess I'm a little upset with people who like to argue. You sit behind a keyboard and you like to just shout out horrible things about people. Get to know somebody before you say stuff. If you encounter somebody who is having a stressful moment, but you don't know that, and you take it out on them and say, call them names, or you say stuff, is that really appropriate? Wouldn't the kind thing be to step back, or to step back and say nothing and just kind of like pray for them? Okay, we don't live in a culture that likes to pray for one another, do we? Or are you one that could step forward and say, can I do something for you? You know, it was about a year ago in the fall. I ran into a gentleman at a grocery store when I was with my daughter. And he was all over the place. And he was very grumpy. And I went up to him and I said, sir, is there anything I can do for you? Because you look like you're really upset and frustrated about different stuff. And he broke down. He cried. You want to know why? He lost his wife a few months earlier. And he had to do something that he and his wife used to do together. He didn't know how to do this all by himself anymore. He did it with his wife. That's how he lived his life, you know. It was like she had a major impact on him. all of us who are married or have special partners or children, we have special people in our lives that matter. That when we lose them, it can have an impact on who we are. So I sat and I didn't sit, we were standing. I talked to him. I said, "What are you looking for?" He goes, "Well, I don't know where to find this." So I helped him find a few of those items. And finally his demeanor settled down. People don't do that. And I won't share some encounters I came across that I've experienced in the last 2 years that are not appropriate. But they didn't take that step of saying, "Is there anything I can do for you?" You see, this gentleman needed somebody to care about him. But he started feeling better. He was able to get his groceries. We met up with him on the way out, and I said, "Can I reach out to you? Is there something I can do?" I didn't live in his town because, of course, I was shopping with my daughter in her town. And he goes, "Could you come visit me?" And I said, "Actually, I can't do that, but I can send you a letter. We can communicate back and forth." And he gave me his address and his phone number. He goes, "I would really like you to call me so we can..." And I had to really think about that because, and I still have his number. But I wrote letters of encouragement instead for quite a few months. I don't know if he got them. I hope he's doing well. And he's been on my mind, so I think it's time for me to give him a call and see, how are you doing? See, a lot of us forget that we made a promise to somebody. A lot of us forget what it's like to need somebody to show compassion. Our country was built on faith in God. So you don't believe in God. Do you love the sunrises in the morning? Do you love the sunsets? Do you go to the beach and just lay on the beach and watch the oceans? Do you find relaxation on the oceans? That is God. Man can't do that. Men can destroy it, and they are. Man cannot make what God has done. Now, I don't have a scripture for you today. I'm just kind of like, I am so, well, maybe I do. I was reviewing my Facebook earlier, and I just, it just kind of like, what were the things that I talked about over the last 21 years? And every year I cry when these memories come up on Facebook. Like, I cry. And I haven't been on Facebook very much lately, but I chose to go on this morning. I don't know why people have to fight. And it's shown right in our leadership. Our leadership is fighting. They're yelling at citizens. We were brought here to escape dictatorship. We were brought here to work hard, to be prosperous from hard work. Okay, a lot of things have changed. We don't have to dig in the fields to get food we need. The grocery store is right around the corner. And yet that is even being threatened. Fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, fresh meat. A lot of threatening is happening there. A lot of stuff. A lot of our freedoms are being taken. We can't even trust the food that's even in a package because of how they make it. You see, I don't want to cause dissension or argumentative views and stuff. That's not what I'm here for. Today, I just want to express my heart's disappointment in all of us. And I'll admit, some things I've done have been disappointing to me as well. But I can be accountable for that. And we all need to be accountable for how we've behaved, how we've treated one another. Can we get back to 9/11 for the behavior that came back? What do we do about the arguing? We get it in our leadership. We get it in healthcare, making mandates. And don't get me going on the vaccines and masks, okay? That's not what I'm bringing up here. I'm going to discuss the vaccines in another video, and hopefully on a very positive note. So if you haven't subscribed, please be sure to subscribe so you can see it come up on your feed, and hit the bell so you know when it's publicized. But that being said, I'm not talking about that part. What I'm talking about is when people were ill and were unable to get a vaccine because of all the stuff that was in there, religious freedoms, all these other factors, okay? People were saying, I hope you die. Is that the type of person you are, really, to say that? You see, a lot of times when people aren't fed information that is clear and informative, it doesn't make sense to them. It doesn't make sense to me either, because there was a lot of, nobody told people what was in those vaccines, okay? So people kind of like said, I'm not doing this. Plus it was experimental and all the other arguments that went in there. So putting that aside, who are we to say, I wish you would die? Or to yell at somebody if they disagree with you? Our world has turned upside down, tipsy-topsy, and it's horrible. We've lost a lot of people on 9/11. We've lost a lot of people annually through the flu, and we lost a lot of people through the virus, but also many other diseases. We've lost loved ones. So this gentleman who lost his wife, he was in more pain than you can imagine. If you haven't seen somebody wander like that, it's not an experience that is comfortable. If you've seen it but you had no response to it, I don't know what to say. Because I've seen my father-in-law after he lost his wife, my mother-in-law. We all wept. We all were in pain. But he wore that pain for a long time. And some other people in our family have too. I won't call them out on here because that's not appropriate. But I think we need to get back to what's true. You know, we're in another election, preliminary, whatever. Here in New Hampshire, we have that election, the primary, the preliminary one on Tuesday. You know, watching all these adults, you know, we're supposed to be able to look up to our elders. That's what I was taught. How do you look up to our elders when they're acting like toddlers? I'm sorry to play it out there like that, but that's what it is. And the bullying that happens, and people respond to bully behavior, and it happens during the debates. Really, people? The question is, how would you respond? How would you handle this? Not come at the other person. Anybody who's asking questions should not ask for an argument. They should be asking important questions that have to do with that person and their drive to be a leader, whether it's presidential, vice, whatever, even local stuff. They need to be able to speak their truth. They need to be authentic so that people can make an informed choice. We need to stop being manipulated. We need to stop allowing that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll get shut down for sharing this information. This is just a personal view, because when I go to the voting booth, I have already done a lot of research. I try to figure out the better of the two, because sometimes they're both not worth voting in. But that's what you have to do. You have to weigh the good and the bad. And you have to weigh out the items that are important to you, not what your neighbor said. Now, my husband and I, we talk about different candidates, and we talk about the different things. Do we vote the same? I'm not sure in some cases. In some cases, I know we vote the same. But he doesn't vote based on me. I know in past elections, he's voted for somebody totally different than me. It doesn't matter to me. You know why? Because we have that freedom to vote for whoever we choose. And we pray that our choice makes a difference for our country. Will we like everything that they do? No. Because you see, even our local representatives, our Washington representatives, our president and all that, they don't necessarily represent all of our feelings. I know I got a little dramatical there. I don't even know if that's a word. What I'm saying is, even with my husband and I, we don't always agree on everything. We're not talking political stuff, just day-to-day stuff. We are human. We see the world differently. So we adjust. We discuss. Sometimes we have an argument. But what you have to do is sit back and take a look at, why are they talking like that? Or why do they feel that way? But don't all of a sudden look what they said and then let the world know on your Facebook feed that, hey, they're horrible people. Just stop. Grow up. Because we're all accountable for how this country moves forward. You know, if people in leadership want to act like immature children, that's their choice. They'll go down in history being that way. But we have to adapt to how, because they're already in office, there's nothing you can do except go to the voting poll every time there's an election and do your part. There's a lot of things that our local government, that I'm just discovering, is passing through that they didn't tell people. It's like, are you serious? They're making decisions on our behalf. Isn't that nice? Residents have a choice, but they need to be informed when big changes are happening and we're not being informed. Now, I know some things are local in my little town. I'm on a newsletter so that I know what's going on, and you can share your viewpoints. You can send an email in, but will those emails be read or received? Actually, here locally, we have 2 gentlemen that reach out to me. I'm on their list, and they keep me informed. I can write to them and say, I disagree with that. Does it change? No, because they're already going to do it. But they heard my viewpoint. They come back and give me their argument and so forth. And it's like, I pay taxes for that, and you're going to keep raising my taxes for this new thing and that new thing. I can't pay you anymore. So you make choices. What are my husband and my choice? We're still talking about what we're going to do. But even living in this country, what is your choice? If you don't like our leadership, and I can't say I'm really thrilled with how everybody's behaving, but if you hate America so bad, rethink why you hate. Or find another place to go. I'm not kicking you out of the United States. I'm just saying, if you don't like it, change your attitude, grow up, or move. I don't like what's going on, but I do love America. I do respect our founding fathers who brought us forward. Were they perfect? No. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. I don't claim that at all. All I know is that I know our country's history, and I know what's going on. So we have consumers that your electric rates are rising. Your food prices are rising. I haven't been in the grocery store to do serious shopping. I went with my husband, and I was putting a few things in that I wanted to get, but we didn't buy extras. No junk food. I didn't even buy any baking stuff. I bought very basic. I didn't buy any juices. I didn't buy anything that wasn't healthy. I didn't even buy any meat. Oh wait, I take that back. I bought one package of meat. 14 ounces for $7.49. I usually prefer to go to the farm stand and get my meat direct from the farm. But it was there, and I'm going to do some beef jerky with it. That's why I got it. So I went there, something that, the top little carriage part was full, and underneath there were a few things, and that was it. It was $180. And when the cashiers announced how much it was, my husband was paying and I was helping to bag. I twisted my neck. I said, "What?" Because I'm like, "Are you serious?" I didn't buy everything we normally buy. I'm not going back. I will go to the farm stand, get my fruits and vegetables. And the farm stand I go to, they have stuff all year round. But I'm like, oh my word, we're on a diet. Now, I might be giggling here, but you know what? People can't afford this. We can't afford this. Our electric bills are, in some places, they're shutting water down. Now, there's a lot of dynamics that we don't know, and we've gone through this before. But when we went to try to get a replacement vehicle, the cost of a vehicle, the average is like $30,000 to $40,000. And that's not those electric things that, you don't want my viewpoint on that. These are cars. This is a used car. I'm like, are you serious? You used to be able to get a used car for $5,000 to $10,000, right? I know that's not happening. So what are we going to do there? I don't know. But this is what I'm saying. We had 9/11, and now we have 2022. People are suffering. People will starve. Mental illness is huge. Huge. Is it because of the world falling apart 2 years ago? No. This has been ongoing. This is the result of greed from the top down. People should be able to grow food. They should be able to prosper. A small business should be able to grow that business. People don't respect small businesses because they've gotten in the habit of realizing how big corporations kind of like keep stealing from them. I could share a lot of macro and microeconomics with you as to how things are done, but this isn't the place. Now, I know I've gone into some more of the political stuff, but have we forgotten what happened on 9/11? I haven't. I still love people. It didn't take 9/11 for my heart to turn to gold. My heart has always been to love others. And my heart's been hurt a lot, long before 9/11. How do I want to share this? We've become a society of me. I want this. If I can't have this, then I'm going to get upset. I'm going to throw a temper tantrum. It's time to grow up, people. I don't care if you're 21, 18, 102. If you are blaming the world for your problems, problems that you have control over, you need to take a second look. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, what of this situation can I change? What of this situation is my fault? And make a change. That's where we need to be right now. Honestly, I don't care about everybody's desire for their wants to be taken care of. I'm a Christian, and do you know, a lot of people think that Easter and Christmas are my special holidays, Christian recognition. No. Being a Christian is recognized every day of my life. Having a special holiday for your needs should be something that should be every single day. Now, I'm not trying to ditch your views. What I'm saying is, and please listen, I have loved all these people, the ones that I've encountered, regardless, prior to all these different petitions and walkouts and all these things that are happening. I just find that people are so divided. And what is going on in our world today? It's different, but it is the same as what happened on 9/11. Because you see, it doesn't matter how they feel that this viral load hit us. It doesn't matter people's perspective. It doesn't matter your scientific viewpoints. It doesn't matter. What happened is it's come in such a manner that it has divided us. It has destroyed us. It's caused some to commit suicide, basically jump out the window. I would like to believe that we can take our country back as American citizens, but as worldwide citizens. What's happening in Ukraine, it's still happening, although my understanding is the northern side is starting to come back, but the other people are coming in from the south. If you can't get it from the front side, take it from the back side. Take that how you wish. But I think we need to support one another. Do I think American money should be going to other countries when we have citizens who cannot afford their electric bill? When we have citizens that cannot afford transportation to work? When we have citizens who cannot afford putting food in their grocery cart? When we have more and more people living on the street. And yet, in the cities that have this, they're all upset that we have homeless people down there. We created a society of homelessness, and yet we take our money and we send it overseas. I'm not talking about the people who have made choices that desire to live like that. I'm talking about people, hardworking people who have lost their jobs, who work hard, can't afford their apartments, have lost their homes. But we can send money, we can make money and send it elsewhere when our country needs attention. We need attention now. 21 years later, we are still being attacked, but we are not seeing it in the same manner because it's not like somebody crashed into our local town buildings. It's not like that. It's different. Friends, I wrote this out a little earlier. In one single moment, life has the potential to end. It has the potential to change in unimaginable, I can't even say the word. It has the potential to change in ways that you can't even imagine. As you live and breathe, take today as your last day. Live it. Love it. And those you come in contact with, love them and care about them. Let's see. And before you go to bed tonight, if you have family members that are in your home, hug them tight. If you have children across the world, we have one daughter who lives in another country right now. We have another one living in another state, and we have another one who lives in the same state but an hour or so away from us. Let them know you love them. If you are on Facebook and you see pretty pictures and all that stuff, make sure you comment and tell them, I love you. I know it's easy to type out. My kids know I love them. When I say I love you, people who know me know the authenticity in which those words are coming from. I don't make that up. I know some people do. But I love my family. And I love many people that don't even know I love them. And not in an intimate way or anything. Friend, they are family to me. They're family to my husband and I. We love them. We would do anything for them. Life is very precious. Be sure to treasure it. So, I know I got on a little bit of a political rant. I hope you understand that part of this is not to be lecturing. Part of what I'm sharing is to bring awareness to you. You have an opportunity to go vote. You have an opportunity to support your local farmer. And let me tell you, I know a lot of people say it's really expensive because, trust me, it is very expensive. But the bonus is when you purchase good food, healthy food, your body is healthier. Okay, I know I brag on that all the time, but you're fuller when you eat nutritious food. You are not weakened by the cravings of the junk food. And I know I talk about, I love dark chocolate, Belgium dark chocolate, and I do. I don't eat it every day because I don't need it every day. Just every once in a while, I think I need some chocolate. So I'm very grateful that I have some on hand. I don't know if I'll get around to ordering more, but the point is, because I don't know if it's ever going to be available again. I think it is, but I put it in my Amazon wish list because that's where it is, and I'm just like, I'll get that when hopefully it won't go out before the weather changes and all that kind of stuff. But we have things in our lives that we can be thankful for. But those expensive meats and vegetables and fruit, if you go to your farm, it's not so bad. But if you're buying packaged food that is filled with a lot of preservatives and stuff, I can only explain this to cigarette smoking. I'm not a smoker, never have been. No offense to you, but it disgusts me because my dad smoked all the time. My mother didn't, and yet when I got into my dad's car to go to his house, it was, I couldn't breathe. I could not breathe. So I would roll down the window and I'd get yelled at because back in that time, it didn't matter what you thought. But there's stuff in that nicotine that causes them so they can't break their habit. So we have patches and everything else. I don't know how it works because I've never been a smoker. But our foods are the same way, where they have stuff in them to make you crave it more. If you make homemade potato chips, you don't have the same cravings as the packaged ones. I make homemade zucchini chips, and I like them. I don't care how wonky you think I am, but you can do stuff like that. So nutritious foods can keep you sustained. And so you won't be craving those other things that are not healthy for you. Nothing wrong with those foods. It's just that you won't have those same type cravings. We can make a change in our lives. We can make changes for our country, and we can be the change that people see around us. Show love. Show an authentic spirit of who you are, that you care. And if you're not one that cares, your authentic spirit is already seen. But I do wish you would pray about that and think twice about how your behavior affects others. Because someday your behavior is going to affect a loved one that you may just take, you just might think, they'll never, no, you don't think about the future. And no, I don't sit here worried about my husband every single day, but he's in my thoughts every day. When he's not here, he's in my thoughts. Because I don't want to be without him. Could I survive? Everybody can survive. But there are some joys in our life that we are blessed with. We might not be rich or anything like that, but we are rich in a family that cares about one another, and that is pretty special. And we're rich as people who love others, even when others hurt us. We'll still love them. We might change how we do things, but we still love them. I'm going to close this. I am going to share scripture. It's from Psalms 46, verses 1 through 2. God is our refuge, our strength, a very present help in trouble. We do not fear. So when people try to fearmonger, I have to turn those videos off, because I listen to what I need to hear. But God's going to take care of us. We may not like how it all turns out, but God has always helped those who trust in Him. He's got our back. People do not have our back, but God does. And I'm not here to convert you. That's just how I feel. And, I could certainly do a video on conversion, and it wouldn't be the way you think. It would be sharing the truth without lecturing you. But what I'm saying here is, my faith gives me strength. That is my priority. And I pray for our country. I pray for our future leaders, the new people who want to be leaders. And I pray for every individual that chooses to vote, that you go out knowing who you're voting for. Don't ask your neighbor who you're voting for. Don't do that. Look up. There's all kinds of information out there. Be careful of your sources. But there's all kinds of information out there that you can find out about people. Not about their history from when they were in high school. Find out what they've done in the last 20 years. Limit it there. Also, check out their age. Oh my goodness, we don't need grandparents in leadership. Let them retire. Let's bring some youth. And I'm not talking about a 21-year-old president. No thank you. I'm talking about someone who has a vision for our future as a country, who loves our country. But not only that, not going into it to see how they can manipulate the world, but how they can bring us together in unity. That's what I pray for. So I don't know how you feel about this video. I know I kind of went on a lecture tangent there and a little bit of a political, but 9/11 brings tears to my eyes. It'll be going through my heart all day today. And I have to be careful not to play that music over and over again. But, that's who I am. That's the kind of stuff that the history of what we've gone through, even back to Civil War. Bring back our history. Go to places that talk about our history. Educate yourself if you don't understand it. Get your youth, get your children to go. Get them to the libraries to read. Get them to know more. Be proactive in being who you are as an American citizen. And if you are from another country listening in, be true to who you are for the history of your country and be proud. Be proud. Every country has reasons to be proud. So I'm going to end this Sunday of reflection of 9/11/2001. God bless you, and our prayers continue for all the families of the lives we lost on that day. God bless.